XRP News Script, simple English version. There's some really powerful people who are making new information about how XRP was created come out. And this information goes all the way back to 1988. In that paper, it talks about David Schwartz, who is the main tech guy at Ripple. So if this information is real, XRP's story didn't start in 2010. It was planned many years before that. And what we're about to learn could change how we think about XRP's job in world money forever. So yesterday, the first paper that came out was like a recipe for XRP. It was made specifically to be used for money services, giving safe payment options to people in an online group through computers all around the world, which is exactly what XRP does. But today another paper came out, and this is also like a recipe. But what's really cool is the date on this recipe, which is 1991, and it was filed on August 25th, 1988. And we can see David Schwartz's name right here. And basically what this recipe is the design behind how XRP's computer system works. So very important. It's not for XRP itself. IT is the technology that makes XRP work. So a person asked if this paper is real or not. And a smart computer called Grok said that yes, the paper looks like a real United States recipe. And we have the recipe number right here, and the inventor is David Schwartz. And David Schwartz is the main tech guy at Ripple. So here's the actual file of the recipe. And basically what this is the early stages of XRP technology before XRP was even made. So David Schwartz was already on the right pathway back then. And over here is kind of how it works. You can see that it starts out with one main person, and then it goes to another person, and that person is able to send it out to lots of other people. So this is not for a payment system. It's for a computer system. But this type of technology is kind of like how XRP works today. A place called Gemini, where people trade money tweeted, "Get your bags ready." And we see an XRP credit card in the picture. Not only that, but they also replied to this tweet saying this could be big. So on August 25th, the XRP MasterCard is coming out with help from Gemini. But there's even more cool stuff. Ripple and a company called SBI want to give out a special kind of digital dollar called Rust in Japan. So one thing about Japan is they're really starting to use XRP a lot, and they plan on using XRP in at least 80% of their banks by 2030. So SBI Holdings is one of the biggest money companies in Japan, and they really like XRP. The boss of that company has said out loud that all Japanese banks might start using XRP for sending money by 2025. He talks about how useful it is for sending money to other countries and making payments across borders. 80% of Japanese banks are planning to start using Ripple's XRP by 2025. So Japan is about to have a really big change in how their banks work, as almost 80% of the country's banks want to start using XRP in their systems in 2025. So this is huge. All the Japanese banks together are worth $17 trillion. And if XRP gets used in 80% of the Japanese banking system, that would mean $13 trillion in money coming to XRP, which is massive. So all the money that banks in Japan have is about $17 trillion in 2023. So this is just Japan's banking system. What about the US? So the United States mainly uses something called the SWIFT banking system to send wire transfers around the world. And the SWIFT network helps with a huge amount of international money transactions. It handles about $5 trillion in money transfers every day, which adds up to about $25 quadrillion every year. And Brad Garlinghouse has said in an interview that he believes XRP will get at least 14% of the SWIFT network, which would equal about $1 trillion in money transfers every day for XRP. So the boss of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, has said that XRP could take 14% of SWIFT's global cross-border payment business within the next 5 years. He guessed that it will reach this by 2030. So we have to wonder why XRP's price is going down even though all of this good news is coming out. The SEC stopped their court case. Japan is saying that they want at least 80% of their banks to use XRP, which equals about $13 trillion. And XRP is on track to take over 14% of SWIFT's platform by 2030. And all these papers coming out that show the foundation for XRP really makes us ask some questions. So a lady named Kathy Woods has some important information to share about digital money, and I'll explain to you how this can possibly affect XRP. I just learned from one of the people who started Tether, a guy named Paolo, that they had no idea that Tether would become an important way for people in developing countries to get dollars until COVID. That's when kids and families in developing countries would go to their parents and say, "You don't have to go into the illegal market today to buy dollars. We can do this on the internet." And that's how it really spread everywhere, which is really interesting, isn't it? You heard what she said. You don't have to go to the market to buy dollars. You could just do it on the internet. Now, what does that mean? Families in developing countries, which basically means people from other countries that don't have a lot of money, are getting more and more into digital money, especially XRP.so. If you look at this map over here, it shows Africa, and all of these countries have started using XRP. These include Benin, Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Egypt, Ghana, Kenya, and many more. And the reason why they're doing this is because their country's money is losing value really fast, but they can't depend on it anymore. Some of these countries have prices going up by 25% every year. So if you have $100, the next year it's only going to buy you $75 worth of stuff, and each year it just keeps getting worse, causing people to lose a lot of money. XRP wants to solve that problem, and they're doing that right now. We thought Bitcoin would do this job because we didn't know about stable coins, and even very recently, I think we're becoming very surprised at how quickly people are starting to use stable coins. I think the much bigger force right now is that it's the doorway into digital money for big companies. It's a new type of investment that really takes the place of gold as something that holds its value. So Bitcoin is seen as something that holds its value, and it's not practical for sending money to other countries if you're doing it on a really large scale. So when it comes to big companies wanting to use Bitcoin in their payment systems, that is very unlikely to happen because there are other options like XRP, which cost very little in fees and payments happen instantly. However, if a bank wanted to use Bitcoin in their payment systems, and they're sending over 10,000 transactions around the world, and each transaction could take more than an hour, it's really going to hurt the bank since it's going to take a lot of time for those transactions to finish. And what we're seeing is more and more countries using stablecoins and XRP. We can see over here that Ripple's Rust stablecoin has had a lot more people start using it, and it's now worth more than $600 million. The government rules are very important here. We've gone from having government officials who didn't like crypto under a guy named Gensler at the SEC to very friendly government officials now, with laws that guide regulators instead of making rules by punishing people, which was forcing new ideas to leave the U.S. and go to other countries. And now that's changing really fast, especially with choosing David Sachs as the leader for both crypto and AI. So the ongoing court case with XRP and the SEC has been dropped. There's finally been an end to the case, which has opened the doors for big companies to start using it, and also for ETFs to get involved with XRP. Yet, right now, XRP's price is a little under $3 or around the $3 mark. Just by all the trading and money that is going to come into XRP in the coming months, I don't think it will still be trading at $3. It will be a lot higher over the last 30 or 40 years because we didn't have the payments layer we needed, and because money services and shopping did move onto the internet in a very big way. The old-fashioned world had to reduce the risk of putting credit cards online and trying to use traditional money tools in this internet world. And all of the middleman companies involved have been taking anywhere from 2% to 3.5% out of each transaction to pay for reducing the risk. That is talking directly about the SWIFT platform. There are two reasons why the SWIFT platform is not practical and XRP will take over. One, it costs too much money. They take a percentage. And two, it is so slow to send a wire transfer around the world. It takes more than 5 days. XRP wants to solve that problem through its instant payments and low fees. Are tiny fractions of a penny that get burned up. So, all things considered, there's some big things happening with XRP right now. And it's going to be very interesting to see how it all works out. Honestly, what do you guys think XRP's price will be by the end of this year? So, if you guys like this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. As always, until next time.